So anyhow, she's, like I say, she's a great, wonderful horse, but she does have a downside. Her downside is she likes to bite. Now, truthfully, she's never bitten anybody else. Now, partly because when I put somebody on, I hold her down by the lead rope, just like this, so she can't reach back there and bite them. But she's managed to nip me a time or two.
And yet she's gone a long time now without biting at all.
She has.
For a while, we discovered it was her cinch. She had one of those string cinches, and she hated it. I think it was pinching her, and we switched that out, and that took care of it, a lot of it. Part of it, too, is because she had her leg broken. I'm going to show it up close back here. You can see her back legs. One is a little thicker than the other. It's her right back leg, this one right back here. She had a bully of a horse where she first was when we first adopted her. That was, what kind of horse was that? It was named Heidi, and it picked on was one of those huge Belgians. And the Belgian was nice to customers, but not to other horses. And Likan unfortunately got into Heidi's space.
That's because she was being ridden by a young wrangler who thought she was a better rider than she was.
Yeah.
And she let him get too close by not paying attention.
And so Heidi, the big horse, kicked her in her back leg and broke the navicular bone. And she was dragging it like Chester on Gunsmoke. And I didn't know it at the time because Heather and I were down in Bailey and Bob was up in Fairplay. And the vet said, oh, you need to put her down. And Bob knew that we would just have a cow if this little horse was put down. So he started doctoring her with frozen peas, wrapping frozen peas around her leg, and arnica montana, and a lot of other things, just a lot of loving magic and stuff. And then we didn't let her be ridden for a year and a half. And so gradually she went from dragging that leg to walking with it to now she runs. She runs fine.
You would have never believed it. This horse, everybody was saying, you know, you can't continue with this. You got to put this horse down. Look at her. She can't even walk. I'm going, well, of course she can walk. She's just having to drag one leg. And it was comical. I mean, I can sit here and laugh now because it all ended well, but it was pretty funny to watch her walk with 3 legs dragging that one. And you know what? She'd go out there and try to get with the other horses, be with the herd, and they'd, of course, take off, and she'd be standing there trying her best to catch up with them. And I know it was frustrating for her, but I didn't think she needed to be put down over it. We had to devise ways to keep her putting weight on her back leg. I've never had any real formal training as a vet or as a vet tech, but I have done a lot of things that I didn't think I'd ever do. When you live remote, you have to do things you didn't think you'd ever get good at. Corey since she's being real sweet right now, Corey wanted to get over there and get some pets in. Let me tell you, when she's snarly and biting, Corey won't go near her.
I'll walk to town first.
She'll tell me, Bob, go get her for me, will you? We're going to need her to ride, but you got to saddle her because I'm not going to do it.
Well, I always untack her and stuff, and I do love up on her because I do love her. She was the one I was supposed to leave behind, and I couldn't, could I, baby? No, I couldn't leave you.
So we laugh and we tell everybody, this is a horse with issues. This is a horse that in some ways you will love her, and she will be a great horse. I could take well, legally they won't let me anymore, but I could take a 5-year-old child, and I used to be able to put it on her back and take them out for a 6 or 7 mile, not hour, 6 or 7 mile horse ride, and they'd be successful. The only problem is they'd be a little slow. She doesn't believe in running either.
But if she gets behind, she catches up with a little trick.
Yeah, she's got the ugliest little trot you'll ever see in your life.
But you know what now? This horse will go on any trail you ask her to go on.
Oh, yeah.
Some others will be scared, and she won't. She figures it out. She goes on that trail. She's smart.
She is. And she's an amazing horse, and we love her. We do laugh sometimes about, you know, there's a lot of jokes around. Oh, it's time to untack somebody. Who's going to get Likan? Well, you know, Corey's always, well, I'll get 2 of them if you'll get Likan.
No, I always get Likan when we come back.
Yeah, because you know she's going to be thankful to see
She's
you.
gonna be happy.
Because she'll be happy to have that saddle off of her. Oh, she's funny.
But I go out in the field a lot and love up on her.
Now, the bad side to her also is that when she's out in the herd, she's always picked on. She is absolutely at the bottom of the list, no matter who you have in the herd. Mind-boggling.
But boy, is she and Oreo are good to each other. She's like a big sister to Oreo.
And you'll meet Oreo before too long, too. But it's interesting to watch her. Yet, once in a while, she manages to, she'll get tired. Well, I remember one time up there at American Safari Ranch when I was working out of there, the Belgian trapped her. And I think that's why she got in trouble with her later. That Belgian trapped her in a corner before they had that incident where she got hurt. And you thought, oh boy, she's going to get hurt. Not hardly. She spun around with her hind end in front of that horse, and she started kicking. And I mean, she started kicking, just bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
And boy, that big Belgian backed right down. And all of us were laughing and cheering her on because Heidi was mean to horses. She was great to people. Man, she was mean to horses. But it was funny. And I got a big kick out of it. We all did. And so I ended up bringing Likan from Colorado out here. And several times I wondered why. And a couple of times even after she got here. But the truth of it is she's been with us a long time now. What, 8 years?
8 years.
8 years. You just don't get rid of a horse you've had for 8 years. That's just...
Well, she and Shizani have been together for probably 14.
Yeah, that's probably about right. So we aren't going to be separating these horses.
No.
And she gets to take rides until she just can't do it anymore.
We kind of are easy going on her. We have a weight limit now. Nobody over 150 on her.
So that means she's taking mostly kids or young girls, young women. And she's a very valuable horse. Now, to us, you couldn't sell her for $300 to anybody. But that's not what it's all about.
We don't want to.
At this ranch, it's not a matter of what a horse is worth, dollars and cents. It's what they're worth and how they act and how they perform. And, you know.
One other thing that Likan does, she is excellent with kids that are autistic.
Oh boy, is she ever.
She taught a little autistic girl who was 18 to talk. It was a miracle.
Well, she and that little girl spent all kinds of time together, and they loved on each other constantly. And it was something. The parents were in tears the first time they saw them connect, because the girl hadn't connected even with them in a long, long time. So when we knew this little girl was coming and needed to be able to have a horse, we didn't know which one, so Bob put 3 or 4 horses that we thought would be likely in the paddock there with her, and just kind of stood her in there. And then she stood and the horses kind of milled around, and then Likan came up next to her like this. And pretty soon Kiva, the little girl, put her arm up over Likan like this and kept looking straight ahead, and Likan just moved in closer, and we knew it was Likan. And so she was all over the place with Likan. She was.
And then would go home and talk for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And so the mom was just in tears with me the next time. So we had Kiva that whole summer coming over and talking to Likan and riding Likan. And so this girl, everybody thinks she's just plain Jane old horse, but you know what? She's got some amazing miracles in her, and not the least of which to me, I will never forget that she kept my horse up.
Well,
that terrible injury, she kept my horse up.
That's true. So she's, like I say, we have mixed feelings about her. We still love her to death, but she is a problem horse. She treats everything in a whole different manner.
Baby. But her poor eye.
Yeah.
Her poor eye is going to always wear what those awful people did to her.
Yeah, and that's something that any of you people think it's cool to be hitting on a horse. I hope
take a look at that eye.
I hope you take a new look. I don't want to show that eye. That's just gross.
But you know, she's so sweet. 90% of the time she's very sweet. She's like this.
So, anyhow, this is Likan, and this is another beautiful day at Heartline Ranch. Sun's out. There's very few clouds. We got a lot of people coming in with teepees. We've got our great helper, Mickey, down there, who helps us a great deal on the ranch. And we're just getting ready for the holiday. What about you, Corey? You ready for the holiday?
I hope so.
We're going to find out anyhow. This is adios. This is Cowboy Bob saying goodbye. And everybody,
saying thanks for letting me meet you today.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart sometimes.
Most of the time.
And that's Cowboy Bob saying happy trails.